finalist, 2022, 2023, and 2024 Texas Regional Radio Music Awards Best Internet Radio Station. Uvalde Radio.
All right, UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, we're live in Brackettville, Texas. It's Fort Clark Days at Fort Clark Springs, and I'm Robert Miguel. Once again, if you are in Uvalde proper, it's a 40-mile drive to the west. Super easy peasy, lemon squeezy, all right? So come out here and join us. Now, you're probably stuck at work, like I said earlier, but today is student day. A lot of school groups out here enjoying little field trips and learning a whole bunch what you call edutainment, entertainment, and education. So it's good times. But tomorrow, open to the public all day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and they're going to wrap up the festivities with a big old street dance. So come on out here and get your groove on. Right now, I've got special guests. We talked to these guys last year, and they were so much fun, and it's exciting to have them back on again. Ezekiel Allen from the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers out of San Antonio, Texas.
Hello, sir.
Hello. How you doing, sir?
Glad to be back with you and your listeners, of course.
Yeah. So we learned a whole lot last year. So I'm going to, since we already have that podcast up and running, we'll just kind of focus on you a little bit more. Ezekiel, go ahead and tell me how long you've been with the Buffalo Soldiers.
I've been a member for 5 years, going on 5 years now. This is about my fourth trip out here to Fort Clark Living Festival Days. We just love coming out here, meeting the public, and sharing our living history. We are not reenactors. Our mission is to research and share the love and the history of the Buffalo Soldiers and the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts who rode alongside them, whose descendants live right here in Brackettville.
So are some of you guys actually descendants? Is that what piques your interest, or are you just people that are interested in the subject?
Very interested in the story. We are not actual Buffalo Soldiers.
Right.
We are primarily retired military. I'm retired Air Force.
Wow.
The majority is retired
military.
military.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
Thank you for yours. We all serve in our own way. Mm-hmm. So it is our passion for the history. Being an Air Force veteran, we lived and breathed as African American, a Tuskegee Airman. Mm-hmm. But once I found out about these Buffalo Soldiers that were almost 100 years before them, you had to fall in love with the history. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did, and that's what we do on a 365 every day of the year. We just finished up Black History Month. We had over 25 events that we had to do. We're about 30 strong, so we get split up a lot to meet the needs of the community and share that history.
Now, I want our listeners to be sure and research and learn a little bit more, dig into the Buffalo Soldiers. But for those who just have no idea, no backstory on Buffalo Soldiers, haven't seen any bit of it in the media or movies or anything, give us just a brief kind of synopsis of what you guys did.
Not a problem. Just to step back a little bit, prior to 1866, we had the United States at the time. You had the Union and you had the Confederates. Well, blacks that served then were called U.S. colored troops. There was no United States Army. It wasn't until 1866 that the United States allowed blacks to serve for the first time. They created all 6 regiments of all-black peacetime force. So the Buffalo Soldiers, they were United States Army. That's the important part. People get caught up with the lore of the name. It wasn't until Western expansion that the United States started going west that these black soldiers confronted hostile Cheyenne Native Americans. And when these Cheyennes saw them, they had never seen black soldiers before. But they noticed that their skin color, their hair resembled the buffalo.
Huh, interesting. Yeah.
And the buffalo at that time, and still is, was very sacred to them. So they started calling these black soldiers Buffalo Soldiers, not only because of their physical appearance, but because they were very, very brave in battle. Almost like when the Native Americans would fight against a buffalo, the buffalo would not back down. And these soldiers were the same way. Yeah. So they gave them that name. And at first, these black soldiers thought they were making fun of them. But then they realized how high in regard the buffalo was to the Native American culture.
So respect.
For food, for making weapons out of their bones, for shelter. They accepted that name with pride and honor. And the Buffalo Soldiers served 1866 in the Indian War Campaign, whose we represent, 1866 to 1890. But their lineage goes all the way to the Korean War. The cavalry disbanded because the army became mechanized and didn't ride horses anymore. That was during World War II. And then in the Korean War, Truman had signed integration of forces. So those units were disbanded, and that's a short synopsis of the history of the Buffalo Soldiers.
Fantastic. Now, is there any specific literature, whether it's books, movies? Give us some suggestions on where our listeners can learn the most.
I tell you, a book that we go by, we primarily call it our Bible. William Leckie has a book out called Buffalo Soldiers. It's a revised edition. He's written it twice. And you can get it on Amazon Prime. Most importantly...
William Leckie?
William Leckie, L-E-C-K-E, and it's called Buffalo Soldiers. And we use that exclusively amongst all of our other research that we do, obviously. But also, we're on every social media footprint. I run all of that. So if you want to go to our YouTube channel, there's videos of us and history there. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. So we're all over social media as well. And I'll tell you, once you get a taste of it, you'll be going down rabbit holes. You'll never stop because the history just keeps going.
Well, thank you for the brief history lesson. I hope that our listeners delve in and go a little deeper into it. Now, let's talk about the event here, Fort Clark Days. You said fourth or fifth time to be out here?
My time.
Yeah.
I've been out. Our association's been here before that.
Many years. Tell me, today's school day,
yes, sir.
The kids must just really react to your stories and information. Tell me what that experience is like dealing with the kids.
And even adults, they're like sponges because many of them never heard of Buffalo Soldiers other than, and I always joking when I do my lectures, don't include Bob Marley's song. That doesn't count, But really, they're like sponges, and they just gravitate to the history, and it's American history. That's what we remind everyone. They just happen to be African Americans that did a great thing for this country, but it's American history, So it's a great time. We always come out here and see all of our friends, the other living historians. Some aren't here yet, but I'm sure they'll be here by tomorrow. But it's just a fellowship, and get together and share their love for history and also educate our youth.
Now, again, we got Ezekiel here from the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers out of San Antonio. So I imagine, you're a little far away from San Antonio. We're out here in Brackettville. When you guys make your annual trip out here, any places you hang out or have to visit in Brackettville besides the grounds here at Fort Clark Days?
In fact, we stay on Laughlin Air Force Base, so that's 30 miles. Because since we're all prior military, we get billeting there. But I go downtown myself because I'm a native New Yorker, so I like to hit the streets.
Oh, very cool.
So I've been to a few places downtown, a couple of art studios, and I caught a couple of events they had going on. So it's always great to break away, like you're saying, and just enjoy the local community.
Right,
we visited the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. Their cemetery is right up the road, so we pay homage to those scouts.
I didn't realize
too.
it was here. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you go out this gate, make a left, it's like the first left. You go down the road about 2 miles.
Cool.
And 4 of those Seminole Negro Indian Scouts, whose descendants still live here, they have a position somewhere down here, they won a Medal of Honor. Now, this street right here is called Bullis Court. Now, if anybody's familiar with San Antonio, there's a Camp Bullis. Okay. Well, Lieutenant Bullis was one of the first commanders right here at Fort Clark for these Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. There was a skirmish with Lieutenant Bullis, and he was being overrun with his troops. Well, instead of running away, 2 of these Seminole Negro Indian Scouts went back and saved his life, and that's how they got the Medal of Honor. Now, Lieutenant Bullis is buried in San Antonio, General now. He's buried in San Antonio Cemetery with over 200 Buffalo soldiers that are buried on Fort Sam or on San Antonio's National Cemetery.
Wow,
right near our park. Yeah, it's a lot of beautiful history.
So much to learn out here, man. You were just like a plethora of knowledge over here, man. It's so cool having you on. Again, you got Ezekiel here from the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers out of San Antonio. What's the best website, social media to find you guys at?
Yes, I'll tell you, our main website is bcbsatx.com.
Oh, say that again. That's a lot of letters. Okay.
bsatx.com. Bexar County Buffalo Soldier Association, TX.com. And once you get there, it'll give you a 3-month breakout on where we're going to be. If you go to the very bottom, it'll have links to all of our social media pages. But if you go to that webpage, that's where everything is at. That's our front door, as we say.
Fantastic. Well, before I wrap it up, you said you're out of New York, you're out here in Southwest Texas.
Yes, sir.
What other places have you taken these stories to? Give me some interesting, just interesting places that you've been.
Oh, man. Houston, most of the forts out west, heading this far. Fort Concho and San Angelo. We've been to numerous forts, living history events, ceremonies, color guard. 2 weeks ago, we were the 3-time guests of honor to San Antonio Rodeo. We're in the Cattlemen's Parade that we have there. So wherever the call is given, since we're all a nonprofit volunteer force, if we can make it, we're coming out.
Very cool.
And it could be from a tea club all the way to a corporate office, and we've done all of them.
Fantastic.
Done all of them. Continue to do so.
Well, thank you so much for what you do and being a part of this and coming back, year over year.
I'm going to come see you.
A fantastic event.
I'm going to come back and see you.
Well, again, it's Ezekiel here. Thanks so much. Ezekiel Allen from the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers out of San Antonio. Give me that website one more time.
bcbsatx.com. uvalleyradiocom.
And y'all got a Facebook as well, too, right?
Yep, just scroll to the bottom of that page and you'll see LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and I run it all. So it's alive and well. And in fact, our Facebook page is living and breathing. So I'm always posting.
So shoot a message to Ezekiel anytime.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, we're at Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. We're not going to get back in regular programming. I'm Robert Miguel, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
UvaldeRadio.net. We are Uvalde Strong.
Uvalde Radio.
UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, good afternoon. Robert Miguel, once again checking in live from Brackettville, Texas. We are just about 40 miles west of Uvalde proper, here in Brackettville at Fort Clark Days, located inside Fort Clark Springs. Again, details are at fortclarkdays.org, a 2-day living history festival. Today going on till about 5, then tomorrow, all-day affair with a street dance from 7 to 11 p.m. Again, more details on our event page at UvaldeRadio.net. So we talked to the Buffalo Soldiers earlier, really cool guys. We're going to have as many historians and entertainers stop by and talk to us as possible before we get out of here. Right now I'm joined by Clifton Pfeiffer and Lee Hale. What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah,
good to have you guys here.
We're having a good time.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so
Glad to be here.
Y'all, are you guys performers, historians, a little bit of both? Tell me your story
Yeah,
here,
a
guys.
little bit of both.
All right.
I've done pioneer tours for
Lee,
years.
get a little closer up
and
there. Get it right up on the mic there, too.
A little bit of both. Well, I've done pioneer tours for years. Was down at Folk Life Festival in San Antonio for 35 years, pioneer tour maker. And he does a little bit of Native American Buffalo Soldier stuff. And we met kind of through the Pioneer Museum up in Fredericksburg. We've been doing that on spring break run for about 18 years together now.
Wow.
Anyway,
so y'all like running buddies, huh?
We ended up, separate, but over time we just kind of drifted, so we started playing together, and so now we just kind of do things together.
Wow, very good. So now you Clifton, you got the guitar. And then, I'm sorry, Clifton's got the bass.
Watch the bass,
Stand up,
right.
okay. Now,
Right.
I think I saw you last year. You were located right over in that area, right?
No,
Is that
I
right?
haven't been here
That was
in
you?
about
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, were you here last year? Were either of you guys
My
last year?
first time was last year,
Okay, very
but
good.
I was inside telling stories and doing cowboy poetry.
I swear there was a guy here last year having your type of instrument as well too. But I'm glad it's you here this year. So Lee, you got to stand up bass on a wash. What's it called exactly? What's
Okay,
that instrument called?
Lee has the guitar.
Oh wait, hold on. You're Clifton.
I'm Clifton.
Lee over there. Okay, now I got it.
I'm the good-looking one.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll remember that
He's
one.
got a
All right.
darker tan than I do, too.
All right.
Yes, I play the washtub bass. It's actually an African instrument.
Wash tub bass.
The washtub bass or gut bass.
Okay.
And what the Africans would do, they would dig a 3-foot hole, stretch a hide across it, cut a slit in it about an inch, put a stick through there with a string attached to it, and then tie the string onto another stick, put it on the ground, and they would stretch it. And when they played it, you get this high-pitched note. But when galvanized becomes popular, this becomes a bluegrass instrument. So they started using it as a tub, and of course they put on a heavier string, and it makes a sound just like a bass guitar.
So now the one you're carrying around here, how legitimate is that? Is that like pretty authentic as far as by modern standards, I guess?
Yes, it is. It's made just like they would make it in the 1920s.
Now, are you musically trained? Is it like you play by ear? How exactly do you play? The washtub bass.
If you listen to Lee, he'll tell you that I'm tone deaf, but you basically play by ear. It's air frets, and you hear the sound, you try to mimic it on this bass, and most of the times, right, and most of the time you can get it.
Really?
And you play it
really good.
And you play it by bending your stick that's on top of the tub. You bend that back and forth to get different sounds.
Wow. I mean, that takes some musical prowess. That takes some ability.
Oh, yeah, you got to have a good ear.
Yeah, so very good. So basically, you're playing by ear. There's no. I was gonna say, do they write music specifically for this instrument, or you can't buy sheet music?
I
right?
don't think so.
All right, so.
Well, I'm gonna try that, man. That might be my next market.
Okay, now wait. You said you're Clifton, right?
I'm Clifton.
And then you're Lee.
Lee, yeah.
Lee, you got the guitar over there. How long have you been playing?
About 20 minutes now.
Right. I haven't heard a beat yet.
I took one to college years ago. I took one to college years ago and started playing then, basically, and played for many years just by myself, and then slowly drifted in. I'm originally a storyteller. And so I originally started just doing stories and was doing a lot of that, and I started adding music over time, and now I ended up music being the biggest part of what we do now. So
Very
anyway,
fantastic.
but anyway, it's fun. And now we're hearing these kind of things like this. We do a lot of the old traditional songs, as you'll see. Stuff like Skip to Malou, Oh Susanna, things like that, Buffalo Gals. Those are all good songs. And it's funny, I'm also a folklorist, member of the past president of Texas Folklore Society. And those songs like this they're the true folk songs. a true folk song is the one that nobody knows who wrote it, but everybody knows the song.
Right.
You know,
right.
so
yeah.
I laughed Joan Baez as a folk singer. No, she wasn't. She's folk style, but she wasn't folk singer. Somebody forgot to tell me to turn my phone off before I got here.
That's so historically accurate.
Yeah.
You're using a cell phone here.
Yep. Yeah,
But,
yeah.
So as far as the songs that you guys play, are they trying to stick to stuff that's kind of period for what we're kind of celebrating here at Fort Clark Days?
In a sense, it is. You know, I remember one time a lady asked me my definition of a folk song, and I said, okay, well here's a folk song. It's a song that you know the words to, your parents know the words to, and your grandparents know the words to, and you can all sing it. But nobody knows where it comes from.
Katy Perry.
Oh, Susanna. Oh, Susanna. You know, those kind of things like that, you know.
Fantastic.
Anyway, so that's kind of what we look at. And almost everything we sing is at least from the 1800s.
Very good.
You know, but they're still common. These kids are singing them with us still.
So Lee, Clifton, y'all tell me what exactly is your jobs out here? What do you guys do specifically here at Fort Clark Days?
Well, Clifton's got some demonstration stuff that he's handed out on the table. I didn't bring mine with me because I just came to basically perform and tell stories and do a little bit of poetry, which I'll be doing tomorrow too.
And Clifton, what exactly? Well, give me a bit of your spiel, a sample.
And so we do toys. We have some toys over there. We have some artifacts. Some music, and of course we sing together. And I brought my Native American flute with me.
Very cool.
And I didn't bring it here, but it's over there.
All right.
And I brought my harmonica, which I don't play much when I'm with Lee because he does.
Now we're on radio, so the listeners can't really tell right now. But just so I know, where are you guys located? Where are you situated?
Just basically the other side. We could see
where those white tents are over there. Okay.
But just the other side over there, across the road.
We're the first one across the road.
So right as you walk or drive in, you're going to be the tents on the left side, I guess, as you drive in.
Yeah.
That's where you guys will be.
There.
And if you make a left, you run right over us.
Now you guys have your instruments on hand. Can we get a little performance here?
Sure.
Okay. Before that, if you guys have any websites, any kind of social media presence, or a way for people to find you guys, please plug that if you guys have that.
For me, it's just Facebook. Lee Hale at Facebook. I'm getting ready to start a YouTube channel, but I haven't got there yet.
Cool. Okay.
So it's Lee Hale, Haile. I'm the only one out there, so it's easy to find.
Lee Hale on Facebook. That's Hale with an I in the middle there.
Yeah, Hale like the hail from the sky with an E on the end.
And then Clifton, how about you? You got anything out there?
It's Dog Community Center. I work there as an outreach coordinator and event planner, and so you can find me there, or you can find me at Clifton at Facebook.com, or either what's my other one? Hands Across Texas.
Okay, cool. Very good. All right.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to do a little performance, we got the mic hot, and y'all just do y'all's thing, man. We appreciate this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I can get to it.
So again, we're live at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas, 40 miles west of Uvalde. Details at fortclarkdays.org. And I've got Clifton and Lee here going to do a little performance live on the air, right here for the first time on UvaldeRadio.net. And I'm going to let them get their things situated here.
And so I bet you'll even know this song. I'm going to see if you'll sing along.
I might even sing. I do a mean harmony. Right there.
Lost my partner, what'll I do? Lost my partner, what'll I do? Lost my partner, what'll I do? Skip to the loo, my darling. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip to the loo, my darling. Going to Texas 2 by 2, going to Texas 2 by 2, going to Texas 2 by 2. Skip to the loo, my darling. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip, skip, skip to my loo. Skip to the loo, my darling.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
All right, UvaldeRadio.net. Again, we're live at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas, just 40 miles west of Uvalde proper. And get more details at fortclarkdays.org. And Clifton and Lee, y'all, come on, one more time. That was great.
I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
Man, y'all can sing, y'all can play. So everybody come out here and see these guys, talented and well-informed gentlemen here. So we're going to get back into regular programming. Again, we are UvaldeRadio.net.
Three-time winner, Texas Internet Radio Chart Awards Best Internet Radio Station, Uvalde Radio.
UvaldeRadio.net. Good afternoon. We are checking in once again live from Brackettville, Texas. I'm Robert Miguel here at Fort Clark Days at, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, just 40 miles west of Uvalde proper. It is, you know what? It's like, half the distance to San Antonio, and you guys go out there every weekend. So change it up a little bit. Make your way to Brackettville, Texas. Head on west on 90 this time around. It's going to be an all-day event tomorrow, including a street dance from 7 to 11 p.m. But you're just going to have a great time, man. The weather's going to be beautiful this weekend, and there's food and drink. They got some cold beers over there. I see that they broke out the little the beer area, the butcher block. So come out here and do some adult beverages. But it's a family-friendly event all weekend long. We're going to be wrapping up our live broadcast here pretty soon, but again, the event is all day tomorrow. Go to fortclarkdays.org for more information and check out our Facebook page at Uvalde Radio to see photos of the event. So I'm joined now, our next guest here, Randy Whitehead. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I wrote that down so quickly. Randy Whitehead from Z Lazy T Chuck Wagon and Goods Light Artillery. So you're playing double duty today, huh?
Yes.
So first of all, Randy with an I, how often do you come to Fort Clark Days? Are you a regular here?
I have been here since actually I was in high school, which has been about 14 years now.
Wow.
I've been coming here
I was going to ask a lady your age, but wow, you got some history here, huh? So you are the living history of the Living History Festival,
sir.
huh? So let's just start off with this way then. You've seen it grow, ebb and flow over the years. I'm sure we had some dark pandemic years maybe where it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, how has the Fort Clark Days Festival grown year over year, and how excited are you about it?
I love seeing all the new reenactors come in. We have so many kids, all the private schools that even come out, a lot of homeschool groups that come out. Our job out here is to educate the public and teach. Yeah. And I love seeing all the new faces every year and a lot of friends from years past that come out here.
So now when you're not doing this, what's your 9 to 5? What's your regular real job?
I am currently working on my master's in wildlife science.
Wow,
so
okay.
That is my project
awesome.
at the moment.
Very cool.
Yes,
Wildlife
sir.
science. That's fantastic. So this is kind of there's some related topics at something like this, right?
For sure, yes.
So as far as your studies, how do they help you out in this in this setting?
A lot of time management skills, that's for sure, more than anything. But you get a chance to be hands-on with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of access and stuff in this area, too, so I enjoy getting to come out here and look around. Yeah. My minor's in animal science, so I do work a lot with the Texas Camel Corps that's here, and I've been working with him since 2009.
Wow.
Right now I've got my steer here who's a bottle baby that I raised this last year, and he's ready for anybody to come pet and love on and spend time with. So that's a really cool experience for a lot of kids because they've never even got to see a cow up close, much less get to go pet one. So
let's talk about what you're doing here. So are you local to Brackettville, the area?
I'm
Where
not.
are you from?
I grew up in Sheffield, which is a couple-hour drive from here, but not far from this neck of the woods. So
you come out here annually just to kind of help out and get involved?
Yes, sir.
Very
Cool. I travel to about 14 different living history events throughout the year. My husband and I just got back actually from Gettysburg for the 160th of Gettysburg this summer.
Wow, but
so
that's
that was
awesome.
a lot of fun to get to go.
So what are one of the? So I mean, you get around, see very similar events like this. What sets this one apart from others, in your opinion?
I think the country. It's just really a beautiful fort. It's a beautiful place, and it's right on the road, so you get a lot of attention there. But the people, there's so many people that come out from all over. I mean, Uvalde's not far. Del Rio's close. We're not even that far from San Antonio
and there are
Junction.
really great people here in Brackettville.
There
Like,
are.
so we're just 40 miles away in Uvalde, and there's just I'm not saying Uvalde people aren't great, but the people in Brackettville are really a breath of fresh air. They're really good people here.
And I went to high school in Iran, which is about the size of Brackettville. So to me, it's like being back home, too. So
let's talk about your job descriptions. First of all, let's talk about Z Lazy T Chuck Wagon. So you're running with a Chuck Wagon. Tell me about that.
This is an 1896 original John Deere wagon.
Okay.
It was made in Minnesota, brought down to northern New Mexico, and spent a majority of its life.
John Deere. I had no idea they were in business that long.
John Deere made wagons.
Wow.
They did.
That makes sense, right?
For sure. So it's.
Is it green?
It is green.
Oh, wow.
Can't have John Deere without it being green.
That's right.
And you can go see the John Deere barely on it. Definitely would be cool to get sponsored by John Deere one of these decades. No, super cool experience. Started working on this wagon as a junior in high school. Back in 2009, we did a trek from Fort Lancaster to Fort Stockton, straight down I-10. This wagon would cook us breakfast and cook us dinner and would pass us on the road, similar to what it would have done on the cattle drives back in the day. So now we get to talk about the history of the Goodnight Loving Trail, the history of the wagons, and the boys on the trail were boys. They were not men like you see a lot in the movies. They were anywhere from 13 to 17 years of age.
Wow.
I mean, they were young men. So we work hard to educate and teach about that, show the kids what it was like to live off the land, and then your wagon's pretty much your modern RV nowadays,
Now,
if you want to look
what
at it.
aspect of the chuck wagon and the history, that's related, what part do the kids go, ooh, like, is there a part that they're, like, really interested or surprised to hear or learn about?
I think they're amazed about, like, sleeping on the ground and being out away from their families and everything, learning how to live off just a little bit of water, and I think that's really the biggest thing is they can't imagine even happened to do something like this.
Of course, yeah, not having a comfortable bed, or,
No cell
air
phones.
conditioning, and having things rationed.
Exactly.
I mean, we all just open up a tap in our sink and get as much water as you want. It comes in bottles, nice and...
We have a 35-gallon water barrel on the wagon, and that would get 7 to 10 cowboys through a week's worth of water, and that's
Wow.
cooking and cleaning and drinking, so that's not a lot of water.
And if you bogart, then you're in a fight.
Correct, yeah, and we are in West Texas. There's not a lot of water in this neck of the woods.
What a fantastic thing to teach these kids. It's so today is school day, and then tomorrow is kind of like everybody
Yes,
comes
sir.
out. How do the different days between Friday and Saturday vary and differ for you?
This one's a little more relaxed. The school groups kind of come in, we go through, and they move on. Saturday's usually just constant people. And everybody bounces around. Usually we do a lot of straight tours with the school kids, and they have a lot of questions. A lot of the adults just walk around and ask questions, take pictures. So
Very cool.
it's a little more relaxed today. I feel like Saturday's usually our busiest
Now, I
day.
didn't really talk about your garb. You're wearing some very Western kind of clothes. How do you typically dress for these kind of things? And are there specific things like period styles you have to keep to, or is it pretty loosey-goosey?
There is. You've got a lot of the artillery and the chuck wagon kind of mixes together on a lot of what they wore. The canvas pants or wool pants, your long sleeve Western shirt, your hat. I've got some tall knee-high boots, which is an artillery fashion that they would have worn working with the batteries. And artillery, so.
Well, you look really authentic. You look
Appreciate
like,
it. Thank you.
belong out here. Okay, so again, we've got Randy Whitehead. She's here at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. If you're in Uvalde, come out sometime this weekend. It's a blast. It's going on throughout the afternoon today and all day tomorrow. Again, the details are at fortclarkdays.org. We're going to be broadcasting live for just a few more minutes. Now, Randy, you're also part of the Goods Light Artillery. Now, that's the cannons that I've been hearing
Correct,
all day, right?
yes.
So now, from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken, I heard there was a big guy that didn't show up, and you guys are the only ones on site today. Or
Yes.
Tell me about what it is
So-
you guys do and what we can see with you guys.
I work with Goods Light Artillery. It's actually a Texas battery that was made here in the state. It fought during the Civil War and was the only Confederate battery that actually made it back to the state of Texas. But we have both Union and Confederate cannons that fire with us. We work with forts, a lot of the West Texas region. So we did have some of the bigger guns cancel out due to trailer problems and some family issues, but we have 2 mortars here. They're both...
And they still sound powerful
Yes,
and loud.
they do.
Yeah, I'm hearing them over here, right, yeah.
They're still very active, so the mortars were easier for them to load in a wagon and carry, and they could fire up mountains in that direction, so they did better at shorter range distances, but just are as deadly as the big 3-inch cannons are.
So whenever we're talking to kids about the need for cannons back in the day, what's that lesson about? Like, what is this specifically for war, or do they have like a more everyday use at all?
Usually it was just used for wars and battles. It's cool to get to see. We have powder. There's no live round or anything in there, so it just makes a big boom and a cloud of smoke. But it definitely gives an impact on how loud these things were, how they work together in a group, and how versatile and what you could do with them.
Now, how many were typically, let's just say you're in a battle, how many typically were in a group, and how long does it take to reload, and fire these things?
A good crew can do it very, very quickly. The seasoned crew that I work with in Gettysburg, we were firing off about 10 to 15 rounds a minute.
Wow.
We can move pretty quickly. Our safety protocols at these events require a 3-minute rule in between each shot. But all of us who fire we're certified through the United States Field Artillery Association. And I'm an instructor for that, so I also get to teach this too. But we've all had safety cards and classes to make sure that everybody goes home safely and has an enjoyable weekend.
Now, I'm not sexist, but you're a lady, and there seems like there'll be some heavy lifting involved. You got some guns there? What's going on?
For sure.
Are you tougher than you look?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I'm the only girl out of 4 boys, so
That's fantastic.
learn to be tough. But also, even though you don't hear a lot about women being on the artillery, Molly Pitcher was a very famous artillery wife, and she actually followed her husband because back then that's all you had. So a lot of wives would help their husbands on the guns by bringing them water, pouring water on the barrels to help keep them cool during battle. And Molly Pitcher's husband was killed, and she stepped in and started taking his role on the cannon.
Right.
And she was awarded through the government for her bravery and heroism. So Molly Pitcher's a really cool lady, and it's
Take
fun.
that, Mulan.
Yeah. So it's cool to get to play her and keep this going alive.
Fantastic. Okay, so as far as your both of your companies here, Z-Lazy, T-Chuck Wagon, and Goods Light Artillery, are there any websites, Facebook, social media that we can find more?
Goods Light Artillery is on Facebook. You can check them out. We're still pretty old school when it comes to the wagon, but that's okay.
You're
But
staying legitimate that way.
But no, you can check out Goods Light Artillery on Facebook.
Okay, and how about you? You have a place where you kind of put your character up there and showcase like an Instagram?
I don't.
Or
I just have my own personal Facebook. So.
Well, very cool. Any other information that our listeners should know before we let you go and get back to work?
Don't take the chance to miss this opportunity. You will greatly, greatly be missing out if you don't come out and check this out.
Well, we're having so much fun, and we learned so much already. So I'm sure that all the students and adults even are just going to love what you guys have to offer here.
I feel like I always learn something every new at these events. Every year I learn something new. So.
Once again, Randy Whitehead here at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. Again, the website is fortclarkdays.org. Randy, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to get back into regular programming. Again, I'm Robert Miguel, and we are UvaldeRadio.net.